Hi, this is Cecilia from Tarot by Cecilia, and this is your weekly tarot guidance for the week of June the 12th through the 18th of 2017. This week, we will see Neptune begin its annual retrograde, which will last through November 22nd. Now, one of the things that Neptune does when it retrogrades, and this reminds me of a couple of tarot cards here, okay? Because this year, Neptune will be working closely with the moon. All right. So it reminds me of the moon card and the Seven of Cups. And this being, if there's any confusion, disillusionment, not seeing reality as it really is, Neptune is going to make sure that you understand what's really going on. And I think that you'll benefit greatly from this. And of course, I will be doing a very in-depth tarot guidance available on Patreon, which will outline by sign what you can expect to see happening for you during this retrograde. So that's it for me for, this week. As far as things are happening, everything else is continuing as it was, and we're still working on new beginnings. This is a constant thing, and it just keeps on growing. I think we'll have a lot more to say when we get to next week, when we reach the solstice. But this week, there's still a lot that's happening here. Pay close attention to the messages of the universe. It's getting exciting, isn't it? When you really start to realize that change is possible. We've been seeing the doors are beginning to open. They might be small doors, little things that are happening, like tiny blessings that the universe is dropping, like these breadcrumbs, to take us along the way to where we're going. We know where we want to go, but how we get there may not actually happen the way that we thought. So we need to follow those breadcrumbs. So, there's always, different cycles that are occurring. And, one of the ones that's important right now, obviously we have Jupiter is direct, and you're going to start to see that, with Jupiter's benefits amping up every day and beginning to help you more and more in whatever area where it's positioned in Libra. And of course, if you're not sure what's going on with all of that, I do have a Jupiter in Libra video on Patreon, as well as a Jupiter retrograde one, which actually carries you through September the 9th when Jupiter leaves shadow. So, as far as your goals and your power, you are really beginning to light your own way. And I'll tell you what, you're doing it in a practical manner. It's not all crazy, helter-skelter, scattered, all of that. It really is, you're behaving in a very down-to-earth fashion, forming important commitments that allow you to really focus on your power and to achieve a level of organization that your life has not seen in quite some time. So, this is all very, very positive for you. And I have to tell you, now, well, here we go. And I see, with Neptune retrograding, okay, those fears are being addressed. So if you've been worried about certain things or not totally in touch with, like I said, with reality, that's coming, okay, because it shows it as a major burden for you. That maybe a little bit too much focus on the past and thinking that even though you have a vision for change, that you can't achieve it because of things that have happened before. This is a whole new ball game, all right? And I think this is good, knowing that Neptune will be here to help you sort through it all and discover the reality so that, once you have all that truth, you can really work on eliminating more stress. Now, that's the thing. Life is never stress-free. But I know for a fact that many of you out there are in a much better place where you no longer feel like you're losing your mind over the stressful situations. Things are under control much more than they were since 2012. So that being said, if something stressful does come up, it's easier to deal with, and it's not like a major roadblock when something happens. So that's good. Now, you're still working on making choices. And I have to tell you, these are when you think about it, they're life-altering choices. So many of you out there are contemplating big things in your life. A lot of you, it's where to move. Should I move? Where do I go? How do I make that happen? What relationships are important in my life? What changes do I need to create to make these things come about? And that's kind of been what's been stressful for you too, is because you weren't totally seeing it, even though you were aware that maybe there was something you should be doing. So you're really getting into, I want to say, a good pocket of energy here, because June represents the beginning of the transition, like the big transition in your life where you really bring about big changes. As far as, struggles go, I think there's a big difference in how you feel, as far as your home base, your security, not your home itself, but that solid feeling that you're giving yourself in your life that allows you to form this rebirth. Okay, so there is a crossroads that you're reaching. It could very well be this week. It's one of many. I feel there's not just one individual crossroads. It's kind of a zigzag road, path that you're on this journey. So it's never just straightforward. There's no finish line. Remember that. And you just have to keep on going. You zig and you zag and you bob and you weave, and that's it. And as I'm saying it, I'm looking, it's like, yeah, you learn to juggle life, you learn to prioritize things, and you learn to go with the flow. That balance that you're seeking, it's starting to work out. Things are starting to balance out. That's been a long time coming when you think about it, a really long time. Okay, so there are opportunities here for manifestation, and learning to release any fears that may be holding you back from doing so is truly important. Okay, I think that there's this sense of working things out this week. Okay, sometimes, when you have a lot of different things that you're working on, you have to do it in little increments. Do a little on this one, do a little on that one, until you've achieved what it is you're trying to do. Because your clarity is definitely coming. But I think the timing, Neptune retrogrades pretty much at the same time every year. That's not the thing. But this year, the timing feels so important. Because when you reach a crossroads in your life, and you have so much to figure out, and you're figuring, these next 3 months are going to bring so much change, you find yourself contemplating and looking for that truth and assessing the status quo. All right, be careful that you don't get too, self-involved with things, that you forget to pay attention. Well, this part of the journey really is so important, to be paying attention to everything. And that's not easy. All right, it is very easy to become, apathetic towards things the way they are, and just kind of forget to look around and see what's happening. Pay attention, because the things that are going on are important, and you don't want to miss any good opportunities that are there, because something tells me that there is a really wonderful opportunity waiting in the wings, because the universe is poised to bring you all kinds of good things as long as you continue to work on it. It's like that sense of, separating yourself from all that stuff, everything that's been painful. There are areas where you can finally relax. That's what I said. There's a difference in, things that can be stressful. It's not like before. Before, stress was laden with tons of anxiety over what was going on, and there were no solutions. Now, little by little, solutions to things that you thought were problems are appearing. Okay, that's why you have to pay attention, because there's a lot of clarity that comes with this, and this clarity gives you power. So this week you're going to see breakthroughs which can help you achieve your wishes, your hopes and dreams. See, this is all good. It is all really, really good. What you can't see, it's about to be seen. Does that make sense? Because the doors are going to open. The confusion is going to be gone. You're going to be turning your back on so much nonsense. I want to be like the universal cheerleader here and just be jumping up and down and saying, yay, you. I'm telling you, major transition in your life. And that, I want to stop and explain that for a moment, because to some people, after everything, you've been through, don't ever view any part of your life as a failure. Some things may not have worked out, but there's so much more to come. And you are not meant to live your entire life always in the same mode. Cycles come, cycles go, doors open, doors close. This is just happens to be a very big shift in the way, your life is transitioning. But it's transitioning you to a spot. I haven't said this in a while because I started saying it, I think, late last year, trying to explain that if you had a long ago dream, like a super big wish, and, you've put it off because life got in the way, it's not so much that you're going to go out and achieve it when you walk away from all this other stuff. It's that the universe is working on bringing it to you. That's somewhere in that September, October timeframe that the ability to achieve that dream finally arrives. So as you're going about your day-to-day in these next few months and revamping your whole life and making changes, the outcome is an amazing thing. All right? I don't think you know the total outcome by October. I think it's more like maybe next June to August, somewhere in there, that you really start to see what has happened and go, oh my God, I never thought I'd be here. That's how amazing it is. All right. But you have to stop and think. Now, I don't want you to focus on it to the point that you forget to do what you have to do. But there's something that you've always wanted in your life, and the universe wants to give it to you. These things take time. But all those twists and turns and zigs and zags, that's where it's leading you. Because apparently the road that you were on 5 years ago wasn't taking you in the direction of what you really wanted. You were doing what you had to do, but you weren't getting to where you wanted to be. So this is really important. I can't emphasize it enough. So you're really working on finding the necessary balance in your life. And this is change for which you can be thankful. But it's change that you created, and it wasn't easy. It was like every time you got knocked down, you got back up again, and you kept on going. Maybe not as fast every time, but you've done it. And I still very, very strongly feel that somewhere around the time of the full moon in September, which is on the 6th, the harvest moon, it's like in that time frame from there to the equinox that you're going to see that things have really improved. So you're going to want to, whether you throw a party or not, you're going to want to throw a party. I mean, it's like totally this reinvention compared to who you were, 5 years ago or so. And this week, I want to say this week, a little bit of patience is necessary with that whole new identity thing. You know change is happening. Doors are opening. All these things are going on. But I really feel that, like, if there was a rocket launcher, that next week we're going to find that when we work on, talking about the solstice, and of course there'll be in-depth videos on that as well, that's really where it's at. That's what propels you towards your future. Something from that moment. Now, not that I think everybody's going to experience something on the same day, but it's right in that time frame. And this week, it's as though you're kind of aware of it, but you're getting in position. Okay? You know how, like, when you have a race and you see everybody gathering the starting line, whatever kind of race it is, and waiting for that moment of takeoff. So I almost want to say that maybe not everybody, probably not me, because I always feel like I'm paying attention to what everybody else is doing, but it's that you're aware that that is coming. It could be that you know you're getting a new job. You know that you're moving. There's something that's happening, but you're aware of it. And I think that, you know, around the time of the solstice is when you have that takeoff. Like the gate opens all the way. So you're going along this week. You're opening doors, you're making changes, you're talking to the right people. But getting to where you want to be in 3 months in September. Wow. It's all coming. You are going to be able to manifest this. You know, it's one of these things, it's almost like a contradiction in terms. Because while there will be some drastic changes that are coming, like at the drop of a hat, you're not running, okay? It's not that kind of a race thing when the gate opens. You're going to proceed very carefully. This is an important transition in your life. So making sure that everything is just right is definitely to your advantage. This week feels very preparatory to me, like knowing that that gate is about to open and all the things that you can work on to make it happen. I find it absolutely amazing. I really, truly do. There's that whole, just, understanding that there is no coincidence in this world, okay? I don't like the saying, everything happens for a reason. I don't believe it. But I do think that you can see the way the universe has woven things together to bring you to this point for that launch next week. So this week needs to be spent getting ready for sure. I think that also, things that are important to you need to be safe. That's the best way I can put that. So you're making plans for your happiness and, proceeding forward. There is no backward at this point. It's all forward motion. But still, and I have to emphasize this, I don't know exactly what it means for everyone. But when I say that it's not everybody's business what you're doing, that feels important to me. All right? It's not about being sneaky. It's just that you need to focus on it and not be loud and bold about it. Just go about getting everything ready. Like I said, this is a preparatory phase, and I don't think it's time to showcase yet what you have done. And this can translate into anything. Maybe you have a new website you want to show people, but it isn't time. So you're working on it these next 3 months. It could be something like that. Maybe you're trying to build, I have a friend who wants to build a team. I know he's going to love that little shout out. But I'm saying it's over the next 3 months. All this preparatory work is being done to get to that moment of success. So it's happening. There's no... I want to say that while there are things where you've felt held back and you've been looking for solutions, you're going over everything now. In other words, before, how can I put this? Every time you would think about something, you'd be like, oh, I can't do that because of that, and I can't do that because of that. Now you're really looking it all over, and you're working at it one thing at a time in a meticulous fashion to make it happen, so that you really are in a better position to stand your ground, to make your way to this new beginning. So I think that we're going to stop there because you have a lot of work to do this week. That solstice is coming next week, and you need to be ready to go. So I want to thank you all very much for listening. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. My tarot guidances are very in-depth over there. And I'll see you again soon. Take care.